So we've outlined here at AMC 4 different paths forward, and I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into each path, but just as a brief overview. The quickest path would be just to build on your existing platform, what it is that you're using today, the existing CCaaS platform that you have, and migrate to Salesforce Voice. A lot of those CCaaS platforms have, well, not a lot of them, but some of them have native integration. Other ones require third-party vendors to assist in that orchestration. And I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't mention the role DaVinci and our DaVinci toolkit plays here in the way that we're able to orchestrate these events and these use cases in this AI and agentic age. Now you can take a more controlled transition, which would be to, let's start shifting routing and some logic into Salesforce without getting rid of everything at once. Gives you a chance to move in phases rather than all at once, which gives you opportunities to roll things back if you don't like the way that it's working at first, and reduces the overall risk. Now, if we really want to have some fun, we can just dump the CCaaS platform altogether. Salesforce recently announced Agentforce Contact Center, which you'll see on number 4. But what's a little bit different about number 3 versus number 4 is a lot of enterprises have phone numbers that they've had for a really long time that they've got mapped to all of these various places where they're advertised. I'm sure there are, some heavy users of customer service lines that have these things memorized. And, we don't want a bad Yelp review to be generated because we've decided to change phone numbers. And so one thing that you can do with Salesforce's most recent announcement around the Agentforce Contact Center is actually bring your own carrier. So you don't have to change your phone numbers, but you can dump the CCaaS platform. And using the DaVinci toolkit for voice, we can actually orchestrate that for you. Bring your phone number over and allow for the Salesforce voice integration. You can move all your routing, your IVR, your IVI, everything into Salesforce. This ought to save you some money and give you more control over your data and the entire contact center architecture that you're relying upon. And so the difference between 3 and 4 is 4 doesn't require any other tools really. Everything is in Salesforce. You're making use of the phone numbers that you would generate from the Agentforce Contact Center. You're using everything inside of Salesforce. It's really quite an incredible move that Salesforce has decided to make. If you were to ask me what I think the best path forward is, I think that what we're going to see is a move of enterprises first starting with one, then taking a look at shifting routing and logic into Salesforce, then seeing the CCaaS platforms being moved away from, and then finally one day I think a lot of these large enterprises that make use of Salesforce may migrate everything into Salesforce. So we've really sort of on this same path. We're going to go through each of the 4 options and talk a little bit about whether it's right for you or not. So number 1 would be just keeping what it is that you have for CCaaS. Migrate to Salesforce Voice for integration, using the DaVinci toolkit to orchestrate that. This is the fastest way to do it. However, you are continuing to rely on your CCaaS platform, the pricing therein, and some of the constraints that are brought by, being tied to their roadmap and what it is that they're capable of doing. Now, DaVinci does alleviate a lot of that, given our open architecture and how flexible we are, but not everything, certainly. To the control transition, this would be keeping CCaaS, but using Salesforce for routing. Where DaVinci plays a role here is through our DaVinci app for unified routing. I believe Josh actually spent some time on that app, a lot of time on that app. And so with that and the DaVinci toolkit, you'd be able to handle all of your routing decisions within Salesforce, map your presences where they need to be mapped so that your agents can do more than one thing and have their presences mapped appropriately across those different channels. This is lower risk. It is a phased approach, so you can roll things back if you don't like it, but you do still have that dual system complexity, and you are still going to be reliant a little bit on some of the limitations that CCaaS platform roadmaps offer you. The third option, let's use Agentforce Contact Center and get rid of the CCaaS platform, but keep our numbers. So we'd be using the DaVinci Voice Toolkit to allow for routing and managing voice directly within Salesforce. You'd be bringing your own carrier, so you wouldn't necessarily have to change all your phone numbers, and you'd be getting rid of the CCaaS platform. So you'd have full ownership of the architecture and all of the data. You'd have absolute control over the cost of things, but it would require a bit more work in terms of design and planning. I'm sure there are a lot of routing decisions and things of that nature that have been existing within these various organizations that have been around for a really long time. And there are going to be people who view this as reinventing the wheel and will be resistant to that because of the time that it will take. And I totally understand that. It's absolutely something to take under consideration. Fourth and final one, just throw it all out and start over. We're gonna move right into Agentforce Contact Center. So the reason that you might want to do this, you're all in on Salesforce. You want everything to be Salesforce driven. You love the idea of only having one vendor that you need to deal with. However, just as there's limited flexibility when it comes to the roadmap of the CCaaS platforms, now you're reliant on only one person. There won't really be an orchestration layer partner in this option to help you build out support for use cases that are not on Salesforce's roadmap, as an example. So that's something to take into consideration as you look at the four different options.